Let's go, guys. Welcome back to Hightop Baseball. Guys, we got a lot to talk about today, man. A really ugly weekend of baseball there versus High Point this weekend. Got our doors kicked in for about 3 straight games, right? Took a miracle there Sunday night to avoid a sweep from High Point, man. First ranked series win in High Point baseball program history. I believe their first win versus a top 10 program, man. Just a lot of firsts over there from High Point. So we're going to dive into that. We'll dive into those 3 games individually. What we're going to do different today, right? We're going to do a little weekend recap at the beginning, right? Before we dive into these games individually. Going to try to spend less time kind of diving into these box scores, right? We'll do game notes. We'll do advanced metrics still, but just less time, I guess, box score scrolling. So we're going to put a little recap here at the front. Things we did good, things we did bad. If you ever see that I stopped talking about something you wanted to see me talk about, or you want me to talk about something I'm not talking about, man, drop it in the comments. Let me know, right? We're learning. We're doing this together. So definitely let me know. But we're going to start today off with a recap. Then we'll get into the Friday, Saturday, Sunday games like we always do. We'll finish off here talking about FSU, the rivalry game in Gainesville coming up on Tuesday. So before we get going today, right, a couple quick things. Last week we talked about the Hightop Baseball giveaway we were doing. Had everyone kind of just drop comments on the previous video. I went ahead this morning, took all those comments, put it into Chat GPT, said, hey, go ahead and pick 3 winners from these group of comments. So stick around to the end of this video. I'm going to post the winners of that giveaway. Then I'll reach out to you guys and we'll get in contact, get you some cool Hightop Baseball merch or something. And then Tuesday, tomorrow night, right, we play FSU. We're going to do a Hightop Baseball Watch Party. It's going to be on the YouTube. I'm going to see if other people maybe want to jump in and join me. We'll talk through it, but at the very least, right, I'll be there watching on YouTube. You guys can hop in. We can talk in the comments, talk on Twitter, kind of get to watch that FSU game together, especially after this ugly weekend versus High Point, man. We're going to have a lot to talk about. So definitely make sure you're subscribed down there to Hightop Baseball. Hit that bell. So when we do go live with that watch party tomorrow, you guys will get notified and you can hop in and watch along with us. All right, so let's get started here with the weekend recap. And I know Gator fans aren't going to want to hear it. All right, LSU Tigers fans aren't going to want to hear it. That's why baseball is the best sport in the world, man. You see High Point come in and take 2 of 3 versus a top 10 Florida Gator team. You see Sacramento State, I believe, come in and win a series, or I guess they shut out. I don't know if they won the series, but they shut out LSU on Sunday. Just crazy stuff, man. Baseball's an awesome sport. Any given day, man, if you don't bring your stuff, right, they're going to come out and take it to you. So let's go ahead and dive into that weekend recap. I just took some quick notes here. We can kind of walk through quickly. And let's first and foremost, man, right, we can talk about what we did wrong all day long. Let's talk about High Point, man. High Point played absolutely phenomenal weekend of baseball. Their pitchers attacked, right? Their starters went long innings. They 8 innings. I think going into Sunday, they had only thrown 3 pitchers across 2 games. Their defense made plays, right? Like every single play. Like I think SportsCenter could do a top 10 play just list of just High Point plays from over the weekend. It felt like they were diving plays, running into the wall. I mean, infield, it was just all over the place. They made every single play they possibly could have made this weekend. Their hitters worked counts. Right, they battled with 2 strikes. They worked deep into counts. They bunted, right, sacks and for hits. They stole bases. I mean, they just played a complete weekend of baseball and did absolutely everything right. So tip your cap to High Point, man. That they looked like a really good ball club. Right, I think their weakness there is going to be that bullpen, which we unfortunately didn't get to see until late Sunday night. But they did everything right, man. In terms of Florida, we couldn't stop the freebies. Right, and it's something that Adrian Gator Diamond Pod's been warning us about. Right, this defense is suspect. We've been kind of talking about it a little bit as well. We can kind of move these pieces around the infield, around the outfield, try to see if we can make it work. Unfortunately, feels like we're rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic at this point. Nobody wanted to make plays for us, so couldn't stop with the freebies, man. Defensively embarrassing. Bats went cold outside of a few innings on Sunday, right? To start Sunday and then to end Sunday, but even there in between, right? Just hitting a lot of pop-ups, and Friday, Saturday didn't look too great. Freebies saved us on Sunday, right? We'll dive into that freebie battle, but freebies saved us on Sunday. High Point head coach putting his kids at risk, right? We'll talk maybe a little bit more about this during the individual games, but Back-to-back weather delays Saturday and Sunday. Both times High Point said coach keeping the pitcher in that was pitching before the delay. It's a rare thing that you're going to see in baseball. You'll never see Sully do it. Those weather delays are, I think, minimum 30, 40 minutes. When you've had a kid warm up and get ready and then to sit down for that long, right? It's just not good for their arms. So didn't love seeing the High Point head coach doing that, but you could see what their bullpen looked like there Sunday evening. So you see why he did it, right? Didn't want to go to that bullpen. Beating Florida was a big deal to him, but I don't know if you should be putting your kids at risk, but that's his decision, right? He's running that team. So crooked innings, really, really crooked innings. And we had the 6-piece in the 4th, I believe, on Sunday. I mean, just lots of big innings, couldn't stop the bleeding. And High Point just did a really good job of getting guys on base and just continuing to keep those innings going. But crooked innings killed us. Ricky Reith being hurt, right? Maybe there was a question mark about why we hadn't seen him yet. I know going into Sunday, we thought we were going to be able to see him. Then it looked like Sully mentioned in the post game that he was dealing with a shoulder injury and should be fine. Just wanted to give him the weekend off. So Reith being hurt, definitely a big deal, right? One of those circle of trust pitchers that eats innings for us, and we definitely could have used him this weekend. Landon Stripling, man, continues to hit. He had an incredible weekend, one of the lone bright spots of this weekend. I'd like to see him continue to be at first base, right? If Curlin's hurt, maybe he's played a little second, a little third in his past, right? Landon, I think he played a couple games at second and third last year. He's more of a first baseman DH, so I don't know what Sully thinks there, but would love to see Landon in this lineup, man. He's swinging the bat really well. A good guy that I think a lot of us thought would be a starter to begin the season. So it's kind of wild that we haven't seen him up until this point, really. But really good to see him kind of breaking out there offensively. Josh Reitner, man, he looks amazing. Sully a couple weekends ago mentioned that he was finding that release point on his pitches. And he is just absolutely throwing strikes. He's locating fastballs, locating off speeds. Another really, really bright spot from this weekend when there weren't really many to find. Brendan Lawson, man, continues to hit bombs. We'll talk through that a little bit here in a second. His glove is still giving us problems, though, right? He's still making some errors in the field. Still not completing some plays that maybe we'd want him to make in the field. Not necessarily going up as errors, but right, just extra effort plays, and we want to see him make a couple of those, and he's just hasn't been making them. Freebies kill this time, not us, right? Talking Sunday night. Luckily, we were able to get on the positive end of that, but Friday, Saturday, and even the first half of Sunday, man, freebies killed us. So nothing really to celebrate there. Win is a win, right? We avoid the speed, especially when you get to avoid the sweep against a team like High Point. Then you got a good FSU team on deck, man. So we got to get rolling, got to get ready to go. All right, so let's jump over to just some bright spots from the weekend, right? Call me a Disney Gator, Sunshine Pumper, whatever we want to talk, right? We're going to have fun talking about this Gator baseball program. Win or lose, right? It's a sport. We all love the Gators. We all love Gator baseball. We're just going to have fun talking about it, man. So there's always bright spots. There's always things to enjoy. And at the end of the day, man, this is a sport. So we're going to have fun doing it. So here's some bright spots from the weekend that I think we can take away, right? Stripling looks amazing. I think we go ahead and lock him in at first. Like I said, maybe second, maybe third. Keep him in the lineup, though. His bat is absolutely hot. Been really fun to watch. Reitner, like we talked about, major bright spot in that bullpen. And then Sully mentioned in one of his post games this weekend that he's very happy with how the bullpen's coming together. Or I think he kind of saw that bright spot as well. Reith, Ernesto, Reitner, Sanford, McNeely. I mean, McNeely looked great this weekend, finally, first time this season. So good to see him kind of sharpen up and come back to form. Barberry, Caden McDonald, Sandifer, Eli Blair had a good little outing. Jackson Hoyt came in and threw strikes on Sunday. I mean, I think you can really see how that bullpen's starting to come together. You got some guys that you can start to trust there. So really good stuff to see out of that bullpen. Another thing Sully has mentioned, right? Quality at bats. Quality at bats are there. We've got 2 games where our QABs have been under 500 for the entire game, right? One of those was actually under 400. It was in the 300s. It was Saturday versus High Point. And then we had one that was like low 400s, but it was still under that 500 threshold. Saturday versus Miami. Right, remainder, all the rest, right, over 500. So that's above average. It's winning baseball at the plate. So really good to see there. Brendan Lawson's bat is so good. right? Especially hitting for power this year. He had 10 home runs all last season across 224 at-bats. He's had 55 at-bats this year, and he already has 8 home runs. So you can see him kind of growing into that body, right? He's still just a sophomore, but already 8 home runs, man. Good, really good to see this kid hitting for power like he is. And he's still hitting balls. He had a triple over the weekend off the wall. So he's just hitting absolute laser beams all over the place. His bat is so much fun to watch. And then the boys battled back, right? Never gave up. You always love to see that as a coach, as a fan. Easily could have rolled over, especially after the weekend of baseball they had been playing. Easily could have rolled over on Sunday and just let that game finish, especially in that 9th inning. So you always love to see that, right? And then last note, like I just talked about, man, win or lose, we're gonna have fun talking Gator baseball, right? We're gonna enjoy it. We're gonna find the talking points. We're gonna laugh. We're gonna have fun. Win or lose, man, we're supposed to just enjoy the ride. So that's what we're gonna do. Jumping over to QABs on the season. This is our season list. You can see Brennan Lawson continues to lead the way with 53. He's hitting 688 QAB at the plate. Really love to see that. Next highest on the team, right? Even despite having a little fewer at bats, Caden McDonald at 667. We're gonna be excited to get Curlin back at 622. Pretty much everybody over that 500 threshold. I think team average is right around 560 right now. So a couple of these guys, right, still hitting the ball hard, still doing well. But you can see the top kind of meat of that order, right? Brendan Lawson, Kyle Jones, Ethan Surwick, Strayer. Once we get Sear back, Carson Bowen. I mean, you're all your top of your order guys that you're going to lean on to score runs as these more competitive games get going are having pretty good years so far. So definitely leading our team in these QAB metrics. Let's jump over to some season advanced metrics, and I'll hide this overlay so we can see the whole graphic. So you can see here, freebie battle, right? We've won the freebie battle 11 times this season. This is including all 3 games during High Point, right? We'll talk about those games individually here in a minute, but this includes everything up through Sunday. We've won the freebie battle 11 times. All 11 of those wins of the freebie battle have turned into wins of the game. We've lost the freebie battle 4 times, right? We've lost 3 of those games. We've won 1. So we had our first time this season, actually yesterday, in that Sunday game versus High Point, where we lost the freebie battle, even despite it just being by 1, right? We'll talk about Sunday here in a minute, but 4 losses of the freebie battle. We've won 3 of those. 4 losses of the freebie battle. We've lost 3 of those games, and we've managed to steal 1 of them. And then we've tied the freebie battle twice and won both of those games. So 14-4, right? Large majority of our wins coming from games where we either tie or win the freebie battle. And we've won 1 game when we lose that freebie battle. QAB percentage, right? So this is sorted on wins and losses. So games that we win, we're hitting 584 quality at bat percentage. Games that we lose, we're hitting 445. Just obvious numbers, right? When the offense dips, you have a higher chance of losing. But you can see that 500 number kind of be in that line of that we need to be shooting for game in and game out here to give ourselves a chance. And then freebie averages. So this is games that we've won, games that we've lost, and then just kind of all of them overall averaged. All of our wins, right? Our freebies, we're averaging 4.7 freebies per game in our wins. We're averaging 10 freebies per game in our losses. So you can just see giving away bases, giving away runs, it definitely hurts you in the scorebook. And then overall average, right? We're averaging 5.6 freebies a game. So definitely closer to that winning threshold, which makes sense, right? Because we're 14-4. And finally, on the recap, we'll dive into just season home runs, right? We had done that home run prediction contest. You can see here on the right, Brennan Lawson leading the way with 8 home runs, pulling out a pretty large gap in that number 1 spot for leading this team in home runs this year. On pace for 26.4, just based on the amount of games we played. Remember, it doesn't include postseason. But we've definitely got a lot of Brennan Lawson predictions, man. So it's going to be fun to watch this one and see if anyone can get this number on the dot and win that replica ring. All right, so let's dive into these games individually here real quick. And we'll start with Friday, and we will start with the game notes. All right, so Liam was dealing, right? Nasty off speed. His stuff was looking really good Friday. He finished with 5 innings pitched, 1 hit, 2 earned runs, 4 walks, 11 strikeouts. So Liam's kind of rounding out We'll talk here in a minute about how that ended, though, unfortunately. Nice little glove flip by Colton Schwartz. Man, he's been fun to watch in the defensively and at the plate, right? Freshman's really coming along, playing some really good baseball to start his career here in Gainesville. Stripling, good first man on, good at bat in that innings to get on base on Friday. Then Schwartz, some really good two-strike hitting. I think that was a little backside ground ball through between first and second. Yost gets a sack down. We love to see small ball like that. Jones, right? Kyle Jones with 2 strikes does his job, gets an RBI in. And then High Point's able to get out of that inning, right? So Walton, that Friday starter, Wade Walton, for High Point, pitched really well. He was 7 inning pitched, 6 hits, 2 earned, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. He was pretty dominant against us Friday night. And right, we're talking about cricket innings here. He does his job, limits that to 1 run, and ends up getting out of the inning. So kind of a storyline going into this weekend that we could have seen on Friday was just High Point being able to stop the bleeding, limit cricket innings, something they did here Friday. It was a big pitching duel right between Liam and Wade. Not a lot of runs being scored right away. High Point hitters were chewing clock on Liam, right? They seemed like, and I think Jeff mentioned it in the broadcast, but seemed like they were even watching the batter's clock, right? Tick down and waiting until that last second to step in. Because, Liam likes to work. He likes to get going. And so they were definitely watching that clock, trying to, I guess, chew some clock on him, make him kind of wait for them to get into the box. So interesting little thing that we're going to have to watch moving forward on hitters if they start to kind of implement that when Liam's on the mound. Here I put don't forget about Stripling, right? Again, this kid Friday night just kind of came out hot offensively. We saw it now, hindsight, right? We saw it the whole weekend. So it goes back to that bright spot, man. Stripling needs to be in this lineup moving forward until he proves otherwise. But do not forget about him. I believe it was the 6th inning, right? Liam comes out and he walks the 9-hole. You never like a leadoff walk, especially to the 9-hole. You got to attack those guys. He walks the leadoff. Then he has like some errant curveball, right? He throws a curveball. I think he missed high and inside, pretty ugly. Bowen immediately calls timeout and goes out to talk to him. And then High Point puts on a hit and run, right? This is, I think, stealing second. They hit one right at the second baseman, but of course he's covering. So great hit and run, first and third. And you just see Liam kind of run out of gas, back-to-back games, right? He gets to that 6th inning, and he runs into trouble. And then he ends up getting pulled, and this is now back-to-back games where the reliever that comes in for Liam gives up one of his runs, right? So Liam leaves only giving up 1, but he's responsible for one of the runners on base, and unfortunately our reliever can't take care of business there and ends up scoring one of Liam's runs. So we're going to need to see Liam kind of finish stronger in some of these outings, right? Get through 6 and not have kind of these blow-up innings in that final outing, final inning of his outing. So Sandifer comes in and goes walk, wild pitch, right? Bowen does his best to try to stop it. Not the best outing there out of Sandifer on a Friday. Schwartz makes a nice play at second. We need a Bowen saves a run counter, right? This guy's just behind the plate, stopping pass balls, stopping wild pitches. He's all over the place, constantly saving runs. So definitely got to give him his flowers there defensively behind the plate for Carson Bowen. The Ernesto Strutt, man, he is so much fun to watch. We've talked about him. He is absolutely one of Sully's favorite guys to go to out of this bullpen. And you saw it, right? We saw him Friday. We saw him Sunday. That Ernesto Strutt needs to get trademarked, man, and we got to get him an NIL deal with something along those lines. Brendan Lawson is inevitable, right? And another home run by Brendan Lawson. We saw, I think, 3 over the weekend, maybe 4 over. I mean, I don't know how many he hit, but just absolute hitting for power. So much fun to watch out of Brendan Lawson. The Surowick call, stealing second late in that Friday game. I don't know what that was about. I have a hard time believing that any Gator coach put on a steal with Ethan Surowick, but maybe they did. Just really hate that call. Felt like that was a moment where we didn't need to be stealing extra bases, and just an interesting call there to kind of give away a runner on the bases with that one. And then High Point center fielder, right, makes that sliding catch to end the inning. It feels like High Point's doing everything right. We kind of picked up on that Friday night. It carried through the whole weekend. They were butting for hits. I mean, they were all over the place. Just really, really good baseball out of High Point. Bad jump by Jones on the 2-out flare, right? So this is one of those balls that kind of into the bat. And when you're a center fielder, man, that ball kind of hit right at you. It's really hard to judge the speed of it, whether or not you're going to go in, come back. So there's a reason they tell you, right, first step back always so you don't get burned. But you could watch the replay on that one, and Jones kind of froze for longer than he should have, and he definitely would have liked to get a better jump on that ball, and ends up falling. So not the best jump out of Jones. I think he had a tough weekend in center field. A couple plays where maybe he could have laid out for it where he didn't, or right, this flare that lands in front of him. He got burned, I believe, in the Saturday or Sunday game over his head. So just not the best weekend defensively out of Kyle Jones in center field. Barberry walks a guy, turns into runs, right? Freebies kill, especially when they're leadoff walks. Can't happen. We saw it again here Friday. Bottom of the 7th, right? We come out, Stanford, Stripling, Schwartz, and Yost all hit the ball really hard. Really hard. Nothing to show for it, though, right? It is another one of those innings where High Point's making plays in the field and just keeping us off the bases. So good in terms of QABs, right? A good hitting at the plate for the Gators, nothing to show for it in that 7th inning. And then we got to see Jackson Hoyt, right? Hadn't been throwing strikes in his previous outing. We see him Friday, looked great in the first, not so in the second, right? Definitely took a step back in that second inning he was throwing. Looked good on Sunday, though. So I think overall as a weekend, right, positive weekend for Jackson Hoyt. And then Stripling, great play at first by Stripling. Great job by Hoyt getting over. Really good to see there out of Hoyt. I wrote here, any eligibility for Walton next year, right? We always say that when these lesser programs, right, don't mean to call High Point lesser, but they are. When they come in and they have these guys deal like this, or they have guys perform at the plate, it's how we end up getting a Kyle Jones or a Jaden Bastian. And so this is one of those moments, right? Hey, pretty much Friday or Saturday starters. If you guys got any eligibility, man, I'm sure hopefully Sully did some tampering on their way out to the airport Sunday night. So really good stuff out of those starting pitchers on Friday and Saturday for High Point. Then I'll hide this overlay real quick, right? We get another leadoff hit out of Jones. Dude's absolutely incredible in the leadoff spot. Another bunt for hit for High Point, right? So they're playing small ball. They're executing, just playing really good baseball. And then an amazing effort by Schwartz on this play. I think it was in the 8th or 9th inning. Blair doesn't get over. And PFP's in his future. And we saw it on Sunday as well. And we'll talk about it in the post game from Sully. He saw it as well. Just a bad day, a bad weekend of PFPs out of Eli Blair. I have a feeling he's going to be doing some Monday morning to start practice for sure. All right, we'll dive into QABs just quickly for Friday. Kyle Jones 4 for 4. Brendan Lawson 2 for 4. Stripling was 4 for 4. Schwartz was 3 for 4. Yosti was 2 for 4. Tough day at the plate for Strayer, right? 0 for 4. Surwick, Bowen, Stanford, all 1 for 4. So overall, not the best day at the plate, but you can see, right, we hit 500 on the day. So it's right there at that average, that winning cutoff. We like to see 500. We want to see over that, but that's the threshold. So we hit it. First man on offense and defense, both teams were 2 for 9. So not the best day at the plate for getting your leadoff man on. Quality starts. Liam gets a yes here, right? Remember, we moved that 5 innings, 2 earned. So Liam gets the yes here. 5 innings pitched, 2 earned runs. Just quickly, right? Crooked innings. The Gators didn't have a single one, right? We scored 1 in the 3rd, 1 in the 6th. 0 crooked innings on Friday out of us. High Point put up 3. They had 2 scored in the 6th, 3 in the 7th, 2 in the 9th. So 3-0 crooked inning battle. High Point puts it on us. And then freebies, right? We walked 7, 2 wild pitches. High Point walked 2, a hit by pitch, 2 wild pitches, 9-5. We lose the freebie battle. We lose the game, right? Kind of the metrics we've talked about, they hold true there. And then Sully's post game, right? Credit to High Point. They battled at the plate. Their starter was outstanding. Kept us off balance. We walked 7. He didn't want to extend Ernesto there. He pitched midweek, and you can see, right, we wanted to throw him again that weekend. So definitely didn't want to extend Ernie too far there. Eli almost got out of it, but he didn't cover the base, right? We talked about that, and he'll mention again Sunday night. Again, right, Blair not covering, and that's obviously disappointing. But again, credit to High Point, they battled. Liam was good. He's got to eliminate the walks. Right, he ended up with 4 walks, 11 strikeouts, 4 walks. So Not the best day, but not horrible. Schwartz, nice night. Fortunately, wasn't hurt on that play diving into first base. Obviously, Strip had a big night, like we talked about. Momentum kind of swung our way on that Lawson home run, but then we gave it right back the very next inning. It's kind of what High Point was doing, right? The second you'd feel any type of Florida momentum, they would squash it and immediately come out and put runs up. So just really good stuff out of High Point. And tomorrow, right? We got exposed on some things Friday night. We unfortunately got exposed on some things again Saturday. Didn't handle the sap bunt well. You can see him here talking about that play on Kyle Jones we talked about, right? He broke back on the ball to him, got to defend the bunt better, hold the runner at second better. Just a lot of things we got to do better. Friday was a pretty ugly game out of the boys. All right, so we will jump over to Saturday now. All right, game notes on Saturday. So first pitch of the game. All right, we see Aiden King hit by pitch, right? Freebies. He was kind of missing his spots early. Seemed like that lefty came up and they had called like a low and out fastball, and King throws one low and in. Right, just wasn't super sharp on hitting his spots. And the Gator bats come up. Right, we go 1, 2, 3, no threat. High Point bats were battling with 2 strikes. It was one of the takeaways we had from the weekend. I mean, they were just not going away easily. They were fouling pitches off. Serwick, we tried to turn double play. Right, we didn't get the guy at first. A little slow on the turn. Nasty dig over there at first by Serwick. I like to see that stuff out of him. So just love to kind of highlight those plays by Serwick when he's playing the corners as well as he is. Schwartz not asked to sack with first and second no outs. That was an interesting. I know they're probably confident in him, in his bat, but first and second no outs in situations like this when we just need to put runs up, feels like it should be an auto bunt unless it's like a Brendan Lawson up at the plate. So kind of shocked Schwartz didn't get asked to bunt there. He ends up hitting a ground ball to third. So they get the fielder's choice at third. So then it's first and second, 1 out. So definitely could have been a good spot to sack there. Stripling gets robbed right down the line. Then Sam Miller next at bat misses multiple RBIs by just a few inches. So just kind of one of those games you could tell wasn't going our way. Right. We come out with more wild pitches, more freebies. Great play by Lawson, right? So that was that one in the 5.5 hole. Runner on second, rounding third. Lawson makes the play and rightly sees that, hey, he should throw home here, right? You're not going to get the guy at first. The runner on second, rounds third, is going home. He sees it, but he's got to set his feet, man. You got to set your feet and just make that throw. The kid was just rounding third. You had all day to make that throw. Instead, he just keeps running, tries to throw on the run, but just buries one into the dirt, goes to the backstop, right? More errors, more runners coming around to score. Just not a very good play out of Brendan Lawson. Got to get your feet set. Then Kyle Jones gets burned on a ball over his head, right? Just not a good route. He was like changing his head, went back one way, then came back the other way. Just not a great route by Jones in the outfield. And in High Point, it's a crooked inning. Keeps getting worse. I think they put up 5. What inning was that? 5 in the third, which is this inning we're talking about here. Just continuing to compound mistakes on the Gators side. High Point just continuing to take whatever we're giving them, right? Because a lot of this were just freebies that we're just giving away. And then like we talked about, right? Adrian at the Gator Diamond Pod warned us this defense looks awful, right? Absolutely awful. And we can move pieces around. We're going to have to move pieces around. We're going to have to find the guys that just will not give up freebies because you cannot do this in conference play. But we have to find guys that are willing to go out there and make the routine defensive plays. And then I put here, right, these are the moments where leadership steps up. And who's it going to be out of this squad, right? And I asked Adrian, Adrian goes to all these games, right? I unfortunately watch these on the TV most weekends. So you miss like dugout stuff. You miss between innings. You can kind of hear the players on the field when you're there in person. And so I asked Adrian, man, are there any leaders on this team that are stepping up? And he kind of said no, right? We don't really have a guy like your Riveras, like your Riapels, right? In years past that are vocal leaders, and you can pick them out the second they step on the field that they're the leader. We don't really have that this year. Adrian was saying it's a little more coaches led, which to me is a problem. I think you can only go so far when your coach is your leader, right? There's moments when you're in the 6th, 7th inning of a game and you're down a couple and you're playing bad baseball. You're not putting good at bats on. and you need a guy to get in that dugout and start yelling at some people, right? And you need a leader on that team that's in the trenches with you, that's going to get on you and hold you accountable, because it can't always be the coach. Doesn't always work when the coach is doing it. So definitely going to need to see someone step up into that spot. Again, right? High Point's making every play. Web gems all around. It was a theme of the weekend, right? ESPN could do an entire top 10 on plays just made by High Point this weekend. It was really impressive stuff. Lawson just misses another home run, right? Hits the triple off the wall on this one. We have a chance to claw back. We get 3 left on base with nothing to show for it here. So we end the inning with bases loaded, don't score any runs, chance to chip away, and High Point shuts it down. Sam Miller, really nice play on a foul ball pop-up. We see McDonald come in and deliver a clean inning. He's been a guy that I think Sully's been having fun turning to out of the bullpen. And then we get a lightning delay, right? A 40-minute lightning delay. And I believe High Point's pitcher was at like 60 pitches already, right? So you're an hour before the game starts. You're starting to ramp up. You're starting to throw and get loose. And then 60 pitches into a game, probably an hour, hour and a half, to sit down for 40 minutes for a weather delay. It is coaching malpractice to bring that starter back into the game. It makes no sense to me. And I think personally it should impact his recruiting, right? High school kids, college kids in the transfer portal, you should see this, right? And I know these High Point kids are going to enjoy celebrating their win, whatever. It's absolutely coaching malpractice to run a starter back out there after a 40-minute lightning delay who's at 60 pitches already in the game. It is just really bad for your arm. It's bad for your kid's health. And of course, right, if you ask that starter, do you want to keep going? Every single kid's going to say yes, right? As a coach, it's your job to protect these kids. So didn't like seeing that, right? And we saw it again Saturday on a 2-hour lightning delay. So just crazy stuff out of the High Point head coach there. Skylar Sanford, I thought looked really good this weekend, right? 98 on that final strikeout. So his velo's really hard. We talk a lot about Reitner being the velo guy. Sanford throws cheese as well. Another 1-2-3 inning for the Gator bats. Right, I think at this point we had gone a full trip through the lineup without a base runner. So just not showing really any fight, nothing looking good at the plate. Then Sanford unfortunately hangs a slider, right? And High Point puts it out. So now it's 6-0. Sam Miller finally comes up, right? He missed that double, which would have been multiple RBIs earlier in the game. And he finally gets that double here. Then Kendall, we get a stand-up triple out of him to score Miller. Jones hits a flare, scores another. So now it's like 6-2. But then, right, High Point clamps it. High Point ends it. And they force us with more left on base, right? More lobs. So not really what you want to see out of our bats with runners in scoring position or with runners on base, right? Just weren't able to bring guys in at the clip that we would want to. Good stuff by McNeely, right? And while we're on that topic, we'll jump over here real quick. Kevin O'Sullivan, right after the game on Saturday, thought this McNeely was the best he's looked since being back. Right, he 2 innings pitched, 1 hit, no runs, a walk, and 3 strikeouts. Absolutely massive to see Luke McNeely start to sharpen up. There's definitely takeaways, guys, from this weekend that we can be excited about. Bullpen absolutely being one of them. And that's an important piece moving forward in us winning conference games and winning these games that are going to get much tougher than High Point. So definitely celebrating McNeely coming out and looking the way he did. Really good stuff out of High Point, right? We keep saying it. Good stuff out of High Point the last 2 nights. We're going to look to avoid the sweep on Sunday. And then High Point gets their first ranked series win in baseball history, man. So hats off to them. They played really, really good baseball this weekend. And kind of while we're on that bullpen topic, right? Kevin O'Sullivan on Aiden King and the pitching staff, right? Not one of those starts we see out of King very much. Didn't seem like he was really having it. So we're not pressing the panic button there. But Sully said, right, he really likes the way our bullpen's coming together. That's definitely a positive that we're seeing out of this team. What we're going to see moving forward, that circle of trust that Sully talks about is getting bigger. And that's an important piece for us to win some ball games. All right, jumping over to QABs from Saturday. Kyle Jones, 1 for 5, not the best day at the plate for him. Serwick, Strayer, Stripling, Miller, all 1 for 4. Schwartzy was 0 for 4. Lawson and Kendall both 2 for 4, and Bowen 3 for 4. So not a good day at the plate. You can see those QAB numbers are way too low. And like we talked about, right, 324 on the QABs. That's not going to win you ball games. It's not going to get the job done. And then continuing that right into first man on, we go 2 for 9. Both of those actually being Bowen. I wanted to call that out, right? Bowen gets on base both times he's up leading off an inning. And then High Point goes 4 for 9, right? So they're 444. That's a number you want to see. Getting your leadoff man on usually turns into runs. So good stuff there out of High Point. Quality start. Aiden King didn't get us one, right? 3 innings pitched, no earned runs. Really weird stat line from Aiden King. 3 innings pitched, 7 hits, 5 runs scored, but 0 of them earned. 1 walk, 5 strikeouts, 18 batters faced. So, right, that big blow up inning, crooked inning in the third, that 5 spot that High Point put up, and it's the freebies, man. It's the freebies. It's the errors. Aiden King gets out of here, no earned runs, but 5 on the scoreboard when he gets pulled. So, freebies killing us, man, and we lose that battle 7-5. And of course, we lose the game, right? Metrics hold true on that one. Then quickly, just getting into Sully's post game. Aiden didn't seem to have his command, right? He was kind of missing his spots. Pitch count got up, and then we just fell apart in the third with the 2 outs there. Got to get better in those blow up spots, but got some good innings out of the pen. Offensively, we were kept off balance, right? These last two starters for High Point. I think Sully giving them a little shout out here. Hey, let me know if you guys want to come visit Gainesville in the off season. See what kind of eligibility you have left. On your college career. Their infield was flying around, outfielder covering a lot of ground, right, making plays all over the place. They back each other up. They're just playing really good baseball, right? That High Point performance this weekend, man. That coach needs to just sit down and watch game film today with that team, man, and just kind of celebrate. They played really good baseball all weekend. So really good learning experience for us, right? We have it every year. You shouldn't have to learn it every year, but every team's different, so you do. Anyone can beat anybody. That's just the sport of baseball. It's why it's the best. We saw it with LSU. We've seen it across the SEC this season so far. If you don't bring your A stuff night in and night out, man, any given team can take it to you. So, and Sully knew it, right? Sully knew High Point had a good club. He wasn't surprised at all, right? They were a postseason team a couple years ago, and they just played really, really good baseball. And then the next comment, right? We talked about McNeely in the pen, but he was really excited with what he saw there so far. All right, final game. We'll jump over to Sunday, and we'll start with the game notes here as well, right? Lawson doesn't make a play in that first inning. Ended up being ruled an error. It was kind of an iffy one, right in the tweener. I like that they're calling these errors, right? Normally when you're at home, you get a little bit more friendly calls. This is a play Lawson has to make. If you're going to be an SEC shortstop, it's a play you got to make, right? And it unfortunately kind of is what got the ball rolling for High Point there in that first inning. They put up that 4 spot in the first, and that error, right, is kind of what got this rolling. Then you get a wild pitch, right, another freebie, and it just turns into runs, right? High Point, clearly too good of a ball club to be giving them freebies like this. They put up a 4 spot in the first. And then we come out, right? Jones leadoff home run. Lawson hits a laser beam, right? Nobody thought that was getting out, but an absolute laser beam. So we go back-to-back home runs, 4-2 now. Great AB by Bowen to work a walk there. Then Strayer gets over, right? Basically a sack, productive out. So then I think we have second and third, 1 out, something like that. And then Kendall just flies out to the infield. Not what you're trying to do there, unfortunately. So not a great at bat there by Jacob. And then we just come out swinging, right? So first 2 innings, we've hit 4 home runs. It's 6-2. I put here, ump likes the attention, right? So Nato hit that home run, and I think he had a word with the catcher. Umpire had to make a point to talk about it, and then later in that game, right? I think it was Stanford asks for help on a check swing, and the umpire doesn't grant him the check. Like he doesn't want to check with the other umpire on the check swing. And Stanford was a little confused by that, and Sully was confused by it, and seemed like a little bit of an up show on Sunday. And then next pitch, right, it was kind of like a close borderline strike, and he just lets the guy walk, right? It's almost like don't jaw back at me. That zone's going to get a little tighter on you. So I didn't really love to see the ump show come out on Sunday. But then we get another weather delay, man. This is a long one, 2 hours. Blair gets the opportunity. We see him warming up. He comes in for that one batter and delivers. Man, just I think guy worked a full count. That lefty had been giving us trouble all weekend. Blair works a full count on him, battles with him, gets the out. Really love to see that. Then you see High Point head coach run that pitcher back out. That he was only like 11 or 12 pitches into his outing, but still, man, you warmed up in the bullpen 3 hours ago. You came in, you threw 10 pitches, then 2-hour delay just sitting there doing nothing. And then to come, it's just so bad for your arm, man. It's so bad for your elbow and your shoulder, right? That baseball throwing motion is not natural. And so you got to be really careful with these kids' arms. So a 2-hour delay, man, is absolutely crazy. And that kid ended up throwing, I think, like 50, 60 pitches. Yeah, I mean, he had a long outing. So credit to the kid, man. Pitched really well, especially with that long delay. But that head coach, man, you've got to protect your kids here. So I again, right, didn't love to see that. And then you see, right, Blair come out the next inning. I would have loved for Sully, right, and this is at the time I didn't realize Reith was hurt. I'm sitting here like, we haven't seen Reitner all weekend. We haven't seen Reith all weekend, right? We got arms in that bullpen. And to see Sully just throw Blair back out there, right? I know the kid's confident, let him keep going, but to bring him in after a weather delay, he comes in with runners on, 2 outs, right? Battles with that lefty and gets his out. Let the freshman have his win. Right, you just let him have a successful day, hang it up, go on to your next pitcher. Unfortunately, brings him back in, and then right, we have another PFP mistake. Right, balled it down the first baseline. He said he thought it was foul. Doesn't get over. I don't care if that ball's in the freaking stands at this point. Eli Blair's got to be standing on first base anytime the ball's hit that right side. So another PFP blunder out of him. Right, like I said, we could have taken him out after that one batter. Jones doesn't lay out a two RBI double, and it's in the gap, right? And he's trying to like cut it off and just reaches. And I thought would have been a good moment to lay out, maybe, right? The ball still got by him, still got to the fence. So would have loved to have seen him maybe get dirty and take a chance on catching that ball. But it ends up being a two RBI double. Then we have another error on Bowen, right? He not even his ball. He's like 10 feet to his right, fielding a ball that's just a ground ball to the second baseman. This one, they do get over the pitcher, and he just, I don't know, wet ball, right? It had been raining, but he just sails this thing into the dugout. And so I'm sitting here like, why Barlow? Right? Again, didn't realize Reith was hurt. Regardless, we have Reitner. Later in that game, we saw ELC come in. We saw Sandifer come in. We saw Hoyt come in. We saw Reitner. Why Barlow? I think Barlow's proved that he's just not consistent enough to be trusted in these moments. I would have loved to have seen in one of these more high leverage moments of this game, someone like an ELC, a Sandifer, someone that is a little more in that trust tree. So Barlow doesn't have the best day. Nadeau and Bowen, another giveaway, right? So we're continuing to just make errors, freebies, right? Even if they're not errors, more routine-ish plays that we should be making. Another crooked inning. So if we're talking Sunday, High Point had a 4 in the first and a 6 in the fourth. So they had 2 crooked innings. We had 2 in the first, 4 in the second, and then 4 in the ninth. So obviously we end up winning this ball game, but crooked innings, right? Their crooked innings totaled 10. Our 2 crooked innings totaled 6. So, ours totaled 6 before that 9th inning, right? So going into that 9th inning, you're like, yeah, of course we lost this game, right? We lost the crooked inning battle. We lost the freebie battle, right? All over the place. So Gators a clown show defensively, right? And I've already said this, but when you've got everybody making errors, right? You can look at the stats now, and I think pretty much anyone in the infield, maybe not Schwartz, but I feel like everyone at this point has an error. Just a clown show defensively, and you're kind of just rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic, it feels like. It's just nobody can make a play. No one wants to pick their brothers up when they're making errors, right? It's just you make an error, I make an error. It's contagious. It continues to just compound, and it's just bad baseball, man. It's not what you want to see. ELC gets a strikeout, right? And I posted on my Twitter that, like, the camera cut straight to Ernesto, and I'm like, I think the whole stadium, every Gator fan in the watching at home was like, well, just make the throw to first, right? It's a drop third strike, and of course cameras on ELC, we don't even see what's happening. Next thing you know, ball gets sailed into the outfield. routine drop third strike. Should have been an easy out. Got next, guys on third. More freebies. So many pop-ups. I think like 18, if I saw correctly, of our 27 outs or something on Sunday were pop-ups. Just not very competitive at bats, right? Just pretty much giving stuff away. And you'll see our QABs were up there, right? We had a good QAB number on Sunday. I think it was because we were working more counts, right? We had a lot of 6-pitch at bats, which does count as a QAB, but then kind of just results in an easy flare, weak pop-up. So way too many pop-ups at the plate on Sunday. Sully said he felt like they were getting tired. Right? I think he said we've played the most baseball games out of any team in college baseball. So you'll start to see, right, we won't play Tuesday, Wednesdays every week, which we have so far this year. So it's just a lot of baseball. Guys are tired, but it's still only March, man. So I don't think we can use that as an excuse. Stripling continues to hit. Lock him in at first, man. He looks incredible. Reitner looks awesome. Lawson continues to hit bombs. Freebies kill, this time not us, right? That ninth inning, they gave up 4. They went walk. I mean, just walks all over the place. That poor lefty couldn't throw a strike. You could see he was swimming in his head. And it makes sense, right, why this High Point coach didn't want to go to his bullpen, because I think everyone knew that was the weakness. So we'll jump to QABs quickly, right? Kyle Jones, Brendan Lawson, Ethan Serwick, all 4 for 5. Carson Bowen and Cole Stanford, both 3 for 5. Not the best day at the plate for Jacob Kendall, 0 for 4 on QABs. Landon Stripling and Justin Nadeau and Cash Strayer, 2 for 4. Then you had McDonald, Miller, and Schwartz, who all had pinch hits there near the end of the game, all coming through with a quality at bat. So pretty good stuff, right? And you'll see here QAB numbers on Sunday, 614. That's elite. That's winning baseball. We put up 11 hits. We scored 12 runs, right? So that kind of all plays. It all tracks. Once again, right, not the best day for a first man on in an inning, but we obviously battled with 1 out and got runs across. Same with High Point, right? 2 for 9. So not the best day getting the first man on for them either. Cooper Walls just getting off to some slow starts. His line, 2 2/3, 6 hits, 4 runs, only 2 of them earned, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. Just kind of getting off to slow starts. I think Sully had mentioned in his post game that it feels like Cooper starts slow and then he has to go to a mound visit, and then once he does that mound visit, Cooper's locked in. So Sully's saying, hey, we got to get you ready to go. Got to get you going quicker. Shouldn't take a mound visit to get you on track. So no quality start out of Cooper Walls on Sunday. And then we get our first anomaly of the season, right? 17 games in, and we get our first anomaly. So, Florida pitchers on Sunday walked 2. 2 hit by pitch, 4 errors, so horrible in the field, 1 wild pitch. A High Point, 8 walks, and nothing else, so 9-8. Right, so we lose the freebie battle here, and we win the game. And like we talked about, right, this is the first time all season where we've won a game while losing the freebie battle. So, right, anytime we tie or we win the freebie battle, we win the game. We've lost the freebie battle 4 times this season. 3 of them we've lost the game. It's going to be our first time where that metric doesn't hold true, right? An anomaly in this one. And of course, right, it took an absolute blow-up spot in the 9th inning, like 4 or 5 freebies out of High Point. I think they had 2, maybe 3 freebies going into that 9th inning. So they finished with 8. It's kind of the reason why we win this game, right? The freebie battle even being close is that just absolute blow-up spot in the 9th inning out of High Point. And then finally, Sully's post-game comments, right? So an odd day again, lots of things to talk about. He was not very pleased with how he responded here. And you're never as good as you think you are, right? So these top 10 ranks and beating up on lesser opponents doesn't matter, right? You got really good ball clubs coming in. I'm sure these kids saw South Carolina next weekend, Florida State on Tuesday, right? You kind of overlook a team like High Point. There's not very good stuff. Didn't play good defense. Luckily, we had our walks down, right? Only walked 2 on Sunday, which was pretty good. Stripling, another really good start at the plate. Brendan continues to hit the ball well. We got a couple guys that are coming back from injury, right? You got Malzone, you got Curlin, you got Sears. So we got to get some of these guys back. You can see here, he says, right, got to get Malzone back. That's why we're playing Carson at first. They look forward to getting Cade back in a week or so. Reith wasn't available this weekend. Right? I think that was a shock to a lot of people. His shoulder was barking a little, so he should be back soon. 18 fly balls in total. It's kind of what their pitching is, right? He thinks the guys got a little tired. He talks here what we just talked about, right? Played the most games in college baseball. So things are going to slow down a little bit for us here, but Cooper's got to get going quicker. Where else are we? Eli comes in, doesn't cover the bag again, right? He thought it was foul. Another rookie mistake. PFPs in practice for him on Monday for sure. Hoyt was good again, right? So you really love to see that out of Jackson Hoyt. Hopefully he can help us moving forward. Reitner continues to look great. 15 pitches. They're going to want him ready to go for FSU on Tuesday. Going into the season, right, you would have thought Coop was the second best pitcher on the team, apparently, according to behind Liam, right? Got to get him going quicker. And you can see here, right, he talking about depth in the lineup, and they're just we're missing Cade, we're missing Blake, we're missing AJ, right? Kind of dicey with just two catchers. Really could have used Reith, right? So, unfortunately, right, injuries have always been a thing that Gator baseball talks about, and this weekend, I think against High Point, you could kind of point to it, but man, just High Point played an incredible weekend of baseball, while Florida played a pretty horrible weekend of baseball. So you learn from it, right? You have takeaways, right? We talked about the bright spots. Bullpen moving forward is going to be, I think, really huge for this Gator team. Freebies, man. I know you're not just going to get better at defense overnight, but routine stuff, right? We got guys on the bench that can make plays. So if you're not gonna make plays, right? I think we kind of talked about the ceiling of this team being allowing Lawson to play short, right? Allowing some of these guys, if they can just play defensive baseball properly to where they're not hurting us, then our ceiling of that lineup raises. And it's just not what we've seen, right? So I think, unfortunately, we're going to have to pivot here and start playing guys for their defense, playing guys that are not going to make errors, not going to have freebies, right? You might take a hit on your ceiling of your batting order in your team offensively, but we just got to stop the freebies, man. Way too many. You're not going to be able to win conference games. You're not going to beat teams like FSU when you're playing this poorly defensively. So be interesting to see how Sully handles that. All right, so jumping over to FSU real quick, and we'll just talk about some injury updates, right? So post-game, Sully said there's a chance Blake Sear returns for FSU on Tuesday. He will be back by South Carolina this weekend, though. Cade Kurland eyeing a South Carolina return, so we will not see him on Tuesday. So jumping over to FSU, all right, we get the rivalry game. All right, it's kind of why we're going to be streaming this, doing a watch party on this Hightop Baseball YouTube page. So make sure you come hang out with us and watch that. But these FSU weekdays, man, I know a lot of us are not fans of them. I wish we played FSU in a weekend series, right? You kind of miss out getting to see guys like Liam, and last year for FSU, like a Jamie Arnold, right? Like you don't get to really see your number one arms throw. I know a big question for this FSU team coming into the season is replacing Jamie Arnold, right? Replacing that star elite pitcher. But that question mark's not going to matter because we play them on Tuesdays and during weekdays, and right. So we're both kind of throwing weaker pitching, but you still get to see the same lineup, right? So 2025 FSU, right? They were 42-16. They lost to Oregon State in a super regional, so they were right there on the cusp of going to Omaha. Finished around number 16 nationally. They were an ACC runner-up, so a really, really good ball club, man. Link Jarrett over there is a good baseball coach. He's doing really good things with that baseball program. Coming into 2026, they were ranked number 16, number 7, number 9, top 20 range across some other ones. So, I mean, this is a top 20 baseball team in the entire country. Like we talked about, right? So some storylines coming into 2026 for FSU. Some good roster turnover, right? 23 of the 40 players on their roster are new. 10 transfers came in from the portal, so you can expect them to be pretty solid baseball players. Then they lost a good amount of guys to the draft last year as well. They're key returning players. These are guys we need to be watching to win these Tuesday weekday games, right? Miles Bailey, one of the biggest power hitters, first baseman, one of the probably the number one college baseball player with the most power. This kid hits absolute nukes. So gotta keep Miles Bailey at bay if we're gonna win this. Their pitching, right? So they're Beard, Mendez, and Moore. But again, we're playing them on weekdays, right? So we don't get to face their number one arms. They're not going to face our number one arms, but they do have some good bullpen arms, which you could probably expect to see maybe throw an inning or something, right? Keep pitch counts low so they can throw the weekend. But in terms of their lineup, right? These are the guys that we're going to see on Tuesdays. We're going to see in these weekday matchups. Cal Fisher, right? Veteran infielder, middle of the order, run producer, kid's a good bat. Chase Williams, really, really good outfielder, right? He's athletic, a lot of speed. Noah Sheffield, Gary Sheffield's son. He's a fun one, right? You'll know when he's up to bat because he's got that same bat waggle that his dad did. So pretty cool to see guys that I watched Gary Sheffield growing up. So he's a younger infielder, but he's expected to maybe see an increase in playing time this year. John Stutzer, right? He's an outfielder, but he's a freshman. And he's one of the top freshmen on this FSU roster. So they definitely got some guys. They got some newcomers coming in, right? So Eli Putnam, Braden Dowd, Cole Stokes, Bryson Moore. These are transfer and freshmen who are expected to fill some of those roles left by the guys that went to the MLB. So some of the strengths, right, of this FSU team, they have a power offense. They're going to put runs up on you. They're going to hit home runs. A lot of transfer portal talent. So despite seeing that turnover, right, 23 of 40 or whatever the number was, those transfer portal guys coming in are talented guys. And we can see it on our team, right? Surwick, Bowen, those transfer portal guys are going to come in. They're going to be ready to produce. And then this FSU team has some high-end MLB talent. Man, several players on pro scouting boards. This is a really, really good baseball team. And you can see it so far this year, right? They're 12-2. They're on an 8-game win streak. They started the season. They beat James Madison. They beat Jacksonville. They beat Michigan. They lost to Auburn, and they lost to Nebraska. Then they've won 8 in a row. North Florida, Citadel, Jackson, Mercer, Northern Kentucky. So, right, they haven't really played, right, Michigan, you're still in, like, February. It's cold up there. They're not playing real baseball yet. Auburn, pretty good ball club. To lose to them 5-8. And then you just kind of played, right, North Florida, Citadel, Jacksonville. They put 22 up on Mercer. So this is a team that can put runs up. They're hitting 295 on the season so far, hitting about 0.8 home runs per game, 2 doubles per game, slugging 441, on base 413, scoring 8.3 runs per game, right? So they're going to put runs up on you if you don't be careful. And then their individual leaders just so far, right? They got Jace Estes hitting 571. Noah Sheffield scored 17 times this year. He's leading the team, right? So a young guy putting up playing pretty well so far. Miles Bailey's already got 5 home runs. Sheffield's got 21 RBIs. Chase Williams has 5 stolen bases. Wes Mendez has thrown 21.2 innings. He has 4 wins. And Chris Neer has 2 saves. So we're not going to see their top end arm talent, obviously. Just because they're just because we're not seeing them on a weekend series, right? They're not going to see our Liam, our Aidens, and we're not going to see theirs. So unfortunate, I think, for the rivalry. I really think it would be fun to get this as a 3-game series over the weekend. But we get them a Tuesday night, tomorrow night. And then, like I said, and just kind of to wrap this up, right, jump into the outro here, the video. We're going to be doing a watch party on the Hightop Baseball page for that FSU game. So it's going to be 6:30. If you have, I don't know if you guys are aware, I can maybe on the video walk you guys through how to watch these games. I know they're not the easiest games to find. If you have like a YouTube TV, you can sign into your YouTube TV through ESPN and watch most of these baseball games. So we'll be watching them on the Hightop Baseball YouTube page. Make sure you're subscribed. Hit that bell. We'll probably go live around 6:15 or something. Just make sure we get everything up and running before the game starts. Our next video will likely be Wednesday or Thursday, right? We only have the one weekday game, so we'll talk FSU. And then I actually have my 5-year wedding anniversary with my wife this upcoming weekend. We're going on a cruise, so I will not be around for the South Carolina games. I'll likely have to catch up on those either at nights on the boat or once I get back on Monday. So still on the fence about whether or not I'm going to do a video on Monday next week. We'll see how much of the games I get to watch and how much I'll actually be able to talk about. Maybe Monday afternoon I'll jump on when we get home and just talk through, I guess, what I've seen. I'll let you guys know where we're at. But make sure you follow me over at Florida Sports Takes on Twitter. It's where you can follow me. It's where I'm always live tweeting these games and stuff. So definitely would love you guys to go over there and keep talking with me about Gator baseball or really anything Florida Gators. And then finally, man, like we talked about, right, that giveaway. I asked you guys to drop some comments on last week's video. We'll do more of these, right? This Hightop baseball merch is fun, pretty comfortable, right? It looks clean at these Gator games. So definitely want to make sure I'm giving these out to you guys. If you want to go buy some over on the Hightop shop, right? Hightopsports.com. Go hit the shop. We have football stuff, right? Basketball stuff, good baseball merch as well. So head over there and buy those. But I went ahead and put all those comments, everyone that followed the entry rules. And these are going to be our 3 winners for the giveaway. So Brian Schaefer, Kyle Freeman, and Dave Prather. Guys, I will go back to your comments from last week's video and tell you a way that we can get in contact, and I'll be sending you some merch. I'll talk to you about that. So congratulations, guys. Really appreciate the support. Make sure you guys are sharing this, right? Gator baseball is a fun season. Have a lot of fun talking with you guys, man. So make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you like the videos. Make sure you're commenting, talking to us, man. This community is the absolute best. I absolutely appreciate you guys, man. Some ugly baseball out of the Gators this weekend gives us a lot to talk about, right? But we're going to have fun doing it. We're going to enjoy this Gator season, man, because it absolutely flies by, guys. So, hey, have a great week, man. As always, God bless and go Gators.